Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? High on Life 1012 here, bringing you some more Black Ops 2 gameplay. And today marks the start of a new series that will be dedicated to anything related to baseball. And don't worry, I won't be going over any games, statistics, or anything of that sort. It's mostly going to be stories and moments that I've remembered over the years. And gosh darn, that makes me feel old. So, with this new series, I decided that I will be uploading some of the best gameplays that I have, which include nuke or unstoppable gameplays. So, you will be entertained, or at least that's what I'm hoping. Also, for those of you that aren't too familiar with the game of baseball, I'll try my best to explain things, but if I don't, I'm completely sorry about that. So, now that Major League Baseball is coming to an end with the start of the postseason only being a few days away, I started to reminisce about some of the best years I've had due to baseball. Now, for today's story, I've already told it to a friend before, so it won't be anything new to me in some sense, but I still want to talk about it because I think it is absolutely hilarious. So, back when I was in high school, during the summers I would play for my own league team and also for any other team that wanted to pick me up for tournaments, but at the same time I did a little bit of coaching on the side to help out with my dad's team, which was started for my younger brother and cousin. So during this one particular summer, we took a trip out to a tournament that we've always gone to whenever we could, and we first started going there when I was 8 or 9 years old, or at least I think that's how old I was, but we've already been at that tournament plenty of times before, and it was mostly to get some more games in before the big end of the summer tournament that we always go to, and we still try to go to these tournaments to this day. Now, keep in mind, I am Native American, or more specifically Navajo, so this tournament that my brother's team went to was run by other Native Americans. Awesome, right? Just like a powwow. No, I'm just kidding. But again, this wasn't our first time coming to town, and everyone knew us because my dad always seemed to have some of the best teams with Native American players. Anyways, during this tournament, my dad's team was absolutely tearing up the competition with us scoring up to like 20 runs per game while only allowing maybe 5 or less runs for the other teams. So we get to this one particular game about 3/4 of the way through the tournament, and we are matched up against one of the hometown favorites. So we knew that we had to come in and play our best baseball. However, we were doing pretty well so far through this tournament. We had 2 or 3 very good pitchers that would go for complete games, which would only result in like 60 to 65 pitches. Our defense was top notch, and our lineup was stacked because we had about 5 or 6 players that hit at least one home run so far during that tournament. So skip forward to about the second or third inning of that game against the favorites. We were only up by a few runs, and one of our main power hitters comes up to the plate and ends up hitting a ball that clearly went over the fence, no problem. And as he rounds the bases, my dad gives him a high five at third base, and right when he touches home plate, the umpire ends up calling him out, and that immediately sets off our parents. And the other team's parents knew what was going on, so they were pretty quiet, but there were a few, of course, who had to take it as far as, if you don't like it, get off our turf. So right after the call was made, my dad ends up running up to the ump and asks him why the run wouldn't count, and his response was, "You cannot touch a player as he rounds the bases. You have to wait until he touches home plate." Now, if you've ever watched a single game of baseball or even softball, you'll notice that every single coach has made some sort of contact with his or her player as they make their way around the bases. And this is exactly what my dad brought up to the ump, because he asked him if he had ever watched a game of baseball or softball or played the sport for that matter, and immediately the guy becomes defensive and warns my dad that if he says anything else, he will be ejected from the game. And so with that, my dad leaves it alone, turns around, walks back to third base, cool guy and all, and looks at us with this smirk, and we all just start laughing because we knew what they were up to. They wanted to prevent us from winning the game against our home team, but that didn't stop us because in the next inning, 3 more home runs were hit. And as the players rounded third base again and looked at my dad, he just shook his finger at the player as though he was saying no, but in a sarcastic way, of course. And the players were also told to make a big circle around home plate so that we didn't lose the run again. It's funny though because we still counted the one that was taken away because a home run is a home run. I mean, there's no other way around it. So skip to the end of the game. The final score ended up being 19-1, I believe. I'm not too sure. I might just be making up that number, but I do remember it being a huge blowout. I mean, we totally, put them back in the dumps. So after the game, we ended up looking up the rules of the tournament, which the director said were the same exact rules that Little League Baseball follows. And so with that in mind, we knew where to look if there were any mentioning of the prevention of a run due to a coach making some sort of contact with his or her player. But there was nothing. So in conclusion, that ump was pretty dumb, and there's really no other way for me to put it. But for the rest of the tournament, our team went on to win the rest of the games, including the championship game. And I think we played the same team again. I'm not too sure, but we did win by a score of 20-5, another big blowout. And I remember the score because I read about this game in the paper, and I actually think I have a photo in my phone of the article. But in short, I'm going to give you a brief summary of what was said in that paper or in that article. Basically, the coach of the other team wouldn't give us any credit for the win. They tried to come up with some excuse about them not having enough pitchers due to all the games they played, but we actually played the same amount of games that day too. But it's done. It's in the papers. We won, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But if you guys would like for me to upload the photo, I could, but I'll decide on that as soon as I upload this video, and we will take it from there. But anyways, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this new series, and maybe give me some suggestions as to what I should talk about or what you would like to hear next time. As always, this is High on Life 1012, and I'm out. Peace.
Under that light rain, beaming in that night game. Can't stop now, keep moving, no break paths. Came here to prove a point, live my life on the field, make history in between the base path.